killed in a windstorm which occurred on Tuesday night in the Ibonu community of Doma local government area. Now, the windstorm also left many persons injured, several houses and public infrastructure destroyed, leading to the displacement of thousands of people. Several communities in at least 2 other local government areas of the state have been affected by the natural disaster. Our correspondent, Halima Gayam, reports.
Wednesday morning, several communities of some local government areas of Nasarawa State woke up in devastation following destruction by an intense windstorm which occurred Tuesday evening. Aloshi community in Kiana local government area is among the worst hit. Even though the rain and windstorm lasted for less than an hour, a large portion of the community has been badly impacted. Residents say this is their first experience and they are in despair. Trees are uprooted, roofs pulled off, and houses reduced to rubble. Schools and other public infrastructure like worship centers and electric poles were not spared. The traditional ruler of Aloshi says about 400 structures in his community were affected by the gusty winds.
What is our only mission now is to call the federal government and state government and the local government to come to our aid so that we can find some other things to our people to repair what is damaged.
5 persons have been injured here. Mama Kaswa sustained injuries after her building collapsed on her. She has been discharged and to continue treatment from home.
Yesterday evening it was cloudy, so I called the children to enter the house. Then the wind affected our house and it collapsed on me. I couldn't move. I felt like I was dead. I was taken to the hospital.
The people of Aloshi are, however, not deterred from their businesses. They hold their regular Wednesday market day. Others have begun rebuilding their homes while hoping for some relief. A series of squalls also passed over communities in Away, Doma and Kefi local government areas, wreaking havoc. As a result, a life was lost in Doma and 10 others are injured in Kefi and Away. The Kefi incident occurred on Sunday with 1/3 of electric poles destroyed, resulting to a blackout in the past 3 days. And about 100 structures comprising personal houses, public infrastructures and shops are affected, while 200 structures in Away and about 100 in Doma are destroyed too. The government says it is carrying out an assessment to ascertain the quantum of the destruction and will provide immediate relief in collaboration with the national emergency authorities.
Our heart goes out to the members of this community. It's really devastating to come down here and see the magnitude.
A rough estimate says thousands of individuals have been rendered homeless and property worth millions destroyed in this natural occurrence that has ravaged communities in Nasarawa State, north-central Nigeria, almost simultaneously for the first time in its history. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
And it's not just Nasarawa that suffered from the fallout of a windstorm today, as Takum local government area in Taraba State was also affected by a windstorm, destroying property worth millions of naira, including houses, worship centers, shops, and even vehicles. A heavy downpour took place after the windstorm, which wreaked havoc on the residents. Governor Abure visited some of the affected communities to assess the damage caused by the windstorm. Away from that, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has approved an increase in electricity tariff to 225 naira per kilowatt hour from 68 naira for its Band A customers. The vice chairman of the commission, Musiliu Oseni, who made the announcement in Abuja, says the increment will be for urban consumers who enjoy at least 20 hours of electricity daily. Our correspondent, Emanuela Ekele, reports.
In the last 4 years, the federal government has increased electricity tariff 3 times. That's in 2020, 2022, and 2024. In 2022, the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari approved electricity tariffs increase, which took effect from February 2022. The document from the regulatory body mandated that customers who bought power at 50.72 naira per kilowatt hour in January 2022 pay 54.22 naira per kilowatt hour from February 2022. 11 electricity distribution companies, DISCOs, were given the approval. News agency Reuters quoted the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy to President Bola Tinubu, Bayo Onanuga, on Tuesday, April the 2nd, saying that the federal government plans to remove electricity subsidy for 15% of consumers to save the nation about 1.1 trillion naira annually. That decision has become a reality.
Part of our regular media.
The regulator claimed that the decision was necessary considering the price of gas, inflation, exchange rate, and available generation capacity before increasing the tariff. At the press conference in Abuja, the vice chairman of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission made the announcement of the increase with reasons.
The April supplementary order takes effect from today, and in that order, the Commission has approved a rate review of 225 naira per kilowatt hour for just under 15% of the customer population in NESI. So that means that less than 15% of the customers will be affected.
He adds that the Commission has downgraded some customers on the Band A to Band B due to the non-fulfillment of required hours of electricity provided by the distribution companies.
The Commission has decided that many of the feeders that the DISCOs currently brandish as Band A are not meeting the Band A service. And as such, the feeders are being ordered to be downgraded immediately as a way of protecting consumers.
The NERC service-based tariff scheme, introduced on the 1st of November 2020, classifies consumers based on the number of hours of electricity supply per day. And that includes Band A, minimum of 20 hours, Band B, minimum of 16 hours, Band C, minimum of 12 hours, Band D, minimum of 8 hours, and Band E, minimum of 4 hours. As the new tariff takes effect immediately, the Electricity Regulatory Body says this review does not affect customers on the other bands. Many are, however, watching to see if that would be possible. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
To politics, River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says those who consider his decision to implement the Presidential Peace Pact as a sign of weakness are in for a surprise. The governor said he decided to keep silent over the controversy on the implementation of the peace agreement as a display of maturity and wisdom. Governor Fubara was speaking while addressing members of the National Union of Local Government Employees who were on a solidarity visit to him at the Government House in Port Harcourt.
New faces with different nomenclature have continued to march in all corners of River State to identify with Governor Siminalayi Fubara since the escalation of the political crisis. The latest to join the train are members of the National Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, from the 23 local government areas. They are at the Government House in Port Harcourt, the state capital, to thank the governor for prioritizing the welfare of civil servants.
Today, we come together to acknowledge and celebrate the significant strides that have been made under the leadership of the governor. His dedication to the well-being of the local government workers has been truly commendable, and the policies that have been implemented reflect his genuine concern for the welfare of our people and the citizens of River State at large.
NOLGE as national leadership, they are with you. From history, River State has been a source of mockery to other states in Nigeria when it comes to welfare of local government staff. Because how on earth with worker will be on duty for 80 years without promotion is very appalling.
This rally is coming days after the State House of Assembly threatened to commence fresh impeachment proceedings against the governor. The chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress in the state, who joined the Solidarity March, threatened to mobilize workers to express their displeasure with the development.
Any day they go to that place to sit again and talk about the impeachment of the governor, NLC, we will withdraw our members for the House of Assembly for immediate action. And we will not only stop there, we will occupy the House of Assembly of Rivers State until that impeachment process stops.
The workers are received by the governor in company of the secretary to the state government and his chief of staff. He tells the workers not to be bothered about him. However, he has a word for those who believe his implementation of the Presidential Peace Pact is a sign of weakness.
That resolution, I'm implementing it, is not a constitutional implementation. It's a political solution to a problem. And I'm doing it because of the respect I have for Mr. President. But let me say it here. If that action that I've accepted to follow will be taken for my weakness, I will surprise them.
Speaking to the issues concerning the workers, Governor Fubara promises to set in motion plans to finalize modalities for the implementation of the consolidated salary scale for grade level 17, in addition to the implementation of the 30,000 naira minimum wage for local government workers.
It is the policies that you ensured that are implemented without any inducement. That is what you will be remembered for. And I'm happy standing with you on the first line of it, ensuring that the 30,000 minimum wage has been implemented.
Earlier, Governor Fubara, represented by the Secretary to the Rivers State Government, Tami Danakugo, received the Forum of Rivers State Government Teachers with Doctor of Philosophy degrees who were on a peaceful walk to solicit their transfer from public primary and secondary schools to tertiary institutions in the state.
In part two, after the break, Zamfara State government imposes curfew along Sokoto-Katsina border to control illegal activities and forestall terrorist attacks. Stay with us.
Black, it's not dark, it's bright. Black is bold. Black is every color all together. My thing, your thing, our thing mixed together. Black shines bright.
Hello, this is Premium Pension. How can we help?
Our experts work behind the scenes, enabling our members grow wealth to secure a premium tomorrow. We see your hard work and we make your money work hard for you. We are growing with you in commitment and service. Leveraging technology to meet your demands. Secure your future and pave way for the next generation. Embracing diversity with firm roots across the 36 states of Nigeria and the FCT. Premium Pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
The Duchess International Hospital caters to every aspect of the family's health needs. A one-stop shop for maternity and child health services, emergency medicine and critical care, medical and surgical subspecialties, dental and eye care, and a range of other subspecialties and services, all available at a single location right here in the heart of Ikeja. And it really doesn't matter if you're paying out of pocket using your HMO or private insurance. We focus completely on providing that world-class affordable healthcare for all the family at all times.
What the? Today, Abure got a really expensive ride. Chill, Abure. Use InDrive and negotiate for the most fair price for you. InDrive, people driven.
Oh no! After a party, Binta needs a safe ride. Binta, get InDrive and choose rides by driver's rating, car, and time of arrival. InDrive.
2 times higher, and it's with immediate effect. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara gives indication he's ready to fight back, says he's not weak as been insinuated, and tells critics to be prepared for a big surprise. And rescue efforts are underway in Taiwan after a 7.4 magnitude earthquake. Governor Philip Shaibu, over alleged misconduct at its inaugural sitting today, ruled that it will continue its investigative proceedings as there was no court order barring it from carrying out its assignment. The panel, headed by retired Justice S.A. Omonua, made the ruling following the objection by Mr. Shaibu's lead counsel, Oladoyin Awoyale, over the continuation of proceedings on the basis of an order from a federal high court in Abuja. The deputy clerk of the House of Assembly, Joe Ohiafi, opposing the objection, relied on Section 188(10) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and argued that no court has the right to prevent the House of Assembly or the panel from performing its constitutional duties. The chairman of the panel, in his ruling, said the Federal High Court only asked parties to come and show cause and thereafter asked the House of Assembly to state its case. The counsel to Mr. Shaibu, in his response to the ruling, opted to discontinue participation in the panel's proceedings. He therefore sought the panel's permission to be excused from the proceedings. He, however, responded in the negative when asked whether he was waiving his right to defend his client, but then maintained that parties are bound to obey the court's order to appear before it to show cause. To Imo State, where Governor Hope Uzodinma is urging the people of the Southeast to support the Bola Tinubu administration, whom he says means well for the people of the Southeast and the entire country. The governor was speaking at the APC Southeast stakeholders meeting in Abure, the Imo State capital, which had in attendance the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, the APC Deputy National Chairman South, and other party bigwigs from the region. Our correspondent, Eitokwe Kute, reports.
Days after his appointment as the Southeast Regional Coordinator for the APC, Governor Hope Uzodinma is calling a meeting of all leaders and stakeholders in the APC in Abure, the Imo State capital. Addressing the gathering, Governor Uzodinma speaks on the need for the region to support the administration of President Tinubu in order to give the Southeast a voice in national politics. He also reiterates the need to reconcile aggrieved members of the party in the zone.
The truth of the matter is that there is only one road. And the current road now is the sitting president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yeah, Gigi, yeah, Jimma. And some of us are going here in G. And that is where our party stands. So we have to support him. We have to support his program. I know the amount of financial engineering and re-engineering this current president has been able to do to bring dollar from 1,900 down to 1,000. It will even go below 1,000. It's a big achievement.
All the party leaders from the zone had their voices to the call for reconciliation of all members.
we need to put our house together. We need to use the resources we have. We need to use our voice. We need to use our talent and work as one team. And collectively, we will make it. And collectively, we will make up this picture. It's just here. After a moment, it will go to 3. From 3 to 4. And from 4 to 5. And that is the Southeast.
We are the leading party in the Southeast. Today, I'm sure it will surprise you to know that of the 15 senators in the Southeast, APC have 7 senators.
It's high time that they join a party that has relationship with others. Why did God create human beings? Because no one is an island. An island can never exist as human beings. There's something you have, the other person doesn't have. And that is complement. And the person brings his own, the other person brings his own. So in that context, we can work together. We need to join the national grid. And we can only do it by forgiving ourselves.
The event is also used as an avenue to work on some decampees from other political parties, as the consensus here is that the meeting will be a recurring one to ensure the party is united in the zone. Eyitope Kuteyi, Channels Television News.
And now we head to the nation's capital, where Markwe Ogun Yusuf is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studio. Hello, Markwe.
Hello, Ayotunde. It's good to see you. Well, certainly good news from here as well, especially for Nigerian students, as the president has signed the student loan bill into law. Officially known as the Access to Higher Education Bill, the legislation was repealed and reenacted by the National Assembly after more extensive consultation. After signing the bill, President Bola Tinubu thanked members of the National Assembly for passing it promptly, emphasizing that education is a tool to fight against poverty effectively. Our State House correspondent, Larry Lasisi, reports.
The President and Deputy President of the Senate being welcomed to the State House by President Bola Tinubu. They're here for a short ceremony involving a significant bill. Also present is the Chief of Staff to the President, the Minister and Minister of State for Education, the Minister of State for Youth, the President of the National Association of Nigerian Students, other government officials and aides to the President. It is in time for the signing of the Student Loan Bill 2024, which repeals the act passed in 2023. It was a short ceremony. Afterwards, the President emphasized the importance of education in the fight against poverty.
Education is the tool to fight against poverty effectively. We are determined to ensure education is given the proper attention necessary for the country, including skill development programs. This is to ensure that no one, no matter how poor their background is excluded from quality education and opportunity to build their future.
In the previous act, some problems were identified and addressed in this act. The changes include the Nigerian Education Loan Fund is now a corporate body with a board of directors, a chairman, secretary, and members drawn from the relevant ministries, regulatory bodies, and participating agencies. The removal of the family income threshold so Nigerian students can apply for these loans and accept responsibility for repayment according to the fund's guidelines. The removal of the guarantor requirement so that students can apply for and receive loans subject to application and identity verification guidelines as provided by the fund, amongst other changes. The Minister of Education and the NANS President speak on the significance of the event.
Now the days when students will be struggling to sponsor themselves in their various educational endeavors is over, both at the tertiary and those who are seeking skills, who are seeking to be skilled, to be empowered to move on with their lives. So it's a very great day for the country.
We will see Mr. President's commitment to the development of education. And today, the entire education system is happy. The Nigerian students particularly are happy. Our parents are happy that, yes, in Nigeria, even the children of the poor can have access to quality education. We see Mr. President's commitment and the signing of the bill today. It shows that Mr. President is a father of modern education in Nigeria, and the initiator of this bill is a hero of education.
What is left now will be to see the first students that will benefit from this loan scheme. From the Presidential Villa, Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
In the northwest of the country, the Zamfara state government has ordered a restriction of movement along the state's borders with Katsina and Sokoto from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. owing to renewed attacks by terrorists on travelers. The Commissioner for Information and Culture, Manir Haidara, who announced this, says the directive was part of the decisions of the State Security Council meeting. The Commissioner explains that this is to tackle the incessant kidnapping of travelers along the Sokoto-Gusau-Funtua highway. Back in the FCT, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, is urging residents of the nation's capital to commend the efforts made by the present administration rather than condemning it. The minister was speaking after inspecting ongoing projects in the FCT. Mr. Wike also waded into the land dispute between the Nigerian military and some Abuja indigents, stating that the FCT authority is currently investigating the matter and a resolution will be reached soon.
Anybody who says that there will be improvement in terms of street light is a sadist. We are trying also to make some repairs of those that have been vandalized, which is not easy. Like when you had the Salida saying about here, that they've tested it, but even though they've not owned it because they are waiting for commissioning. So maybe this is part of the area they think that is dark. People should be able to commend government when there are improvements. I didn't say here that we are going to concentrate only on roads. We are saying we are going to dwell on the health sector and the education sector. Even agriculture, in terms of education, there are a few weeks we flagged up about the renovation of 19 schools. And I just said that we are going to take on 21 schools again under the 2024 budget. These people know. It's just that some Nigerians find it difficult to accept the reality of ground that yes, things have changed. And when you do that, you see that those who are working will give them their best. But not when you do something, so them to commend you on that, they are not happy. What they expected is not what they are seeing. They thought that we would have failed. But unfortunately, we are not failing. We are going on stronger and stronger every day.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria Customs records 122% growth in revenue in the first quarter of 2024 at 1.3 trillion naira. That's some business news. Do join us again.
First Money is Nigeria's biggest and most preferred agent banking network. Thanks to First Money, millions of people are living their dreams. Meet some First Money agents who are driving this.
Started just with 100,000 naira, but the demand became so much, I had to buy others. It was like a dream come true.
I can confess to you that the monthly commission that I receive from First Money Agency, sometimes it overshoots what you receive from the petrol, even petrol and gas.
Through First Money, over 1 million people across Nigeria have their financial services needs met daily. In all the accessible local government areas, you're bound to find First Money agents. With First Money, we're bringing financial inclusion and the many benefits that come with it. You first, First Bank.
We all know the feeling, hanging out with friends and reaching for that refreshing bottle of soda. But hold on a minute. What we don't always see is what's hidden inside those bottles. So when you reach for that bottle, can, or juice box, remember, it's not just a drink, it's a threat to your health.
Black It's not dark, it's bright. Black is bold. Black is every color, all together. My thing, your thing, our thing mixed together. Black shines brighter.
Welcome back to the news at 10. The Labour Party says its national chairman, Barrister Julius Abure, escaped an assassination attempt on him at his Abuja residence early this morning. A statement signed by the National Publicity Secretary, Abure Ifo, says Mr. Abure's residence was also gutted by a fire, which started a few minutes after 1 a.m. while Mr. Abure and his family members were asleep. Mr. Ifo says it took divine intervention for the national chairman and his family to escape after neighbors and security men gallantly pulled down one of the windows upstairs, making a way for the family to make their escape. Men of the fire service are said to have arrived shortly after Mr. Abure and his family were evacuated. And that's all from our Abuja studios. It's back now to you, Ayotune.
Many thanks, Amakwe. Since the expanded program on immunization launched in Nigeria in the year 1976, more vaccines have been added to eradicate killer diseases in the country. Sadly, the enthusiasm to tackle diseases has not been matched with vaccine and treatment uptake. This is the problem the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, with help from partners, wants to tackle in Designathon 2024, a program where young minds find ways to improve health-seeking habits. Our correspondent, Mary Alali Yusuf, reports.
The health community is concerned about the progression of HIV, hypertension, cervical and liver cancer, among other diseases, in the face of cheap and sometimes free preventive intervention. That's why NIMA has convened this conference with young people between the ages of 19 and 24 to come up with solutions. Participants were selected from over 1,000 entries to come up with the 40 teams represented here.
So how can we make this better?
The conveners give further clarification about their collaboration with young people at a press conference.
Getting them to buy in, getting them to bring the solutions for us, we make the results acceptable to them, and therefore the impact that it will have on the targeted disease will be strong.
You know, we are here asking our youth, asking our community-based organizations, asking just everybody that has, a handle on health, that has experienced health, that wants to learn, to bring those solutions, and together we will co-create what we know would work best for us.
It's not the first time NIMA will seek ideas from the younger generation. It did so when the country needed to find a solution for people who wouldn't report for HIV tests.
They told us this is the best strategy if you want young people who ordinarily would not come to hospital to do HIV self-testing, HIV test. But if you have the one they can do in the comfort of their home, they were able to do that. And with that, we're able to ramp up the HIV testing. And that has translated to policy.
Participants are excited to be a part of National Health Solutions.
It's a great opportunity to listen to other like-minded people who are really looking at ways to innovate the healthcare facility, to improve the healthcare facility.
In Ibadan and having our projects done in Ibadan, it will ensure that it will not affect our schooling and we're able to actualize, do something important for our health sphere in Nigeria.
In the next few days, 40 groups of volunteers will be whittled down to 5. The final selection will be back for boot camp in June, when they are to be schooled in the ethics of research as well as pitching strategies. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
The Cross River State Governor, Basi Otu, is urging investors from all sectors to collaborate with the state to improve the nation's economy by investing in its vast land. He made this call in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, while hosting a group of investors who were interested in boosting the state's agricultural sector. According to him, a well-structured promotion and involvement in agricultural production will not only increase food supply, but also boost the economy.
With the increase in petroleum product prices and transportation costs, obtaining a comfortable life has become challenging as prices of goods are skyrocketing due to traders traveling long distances to purchase food items. In Calabar metropolis, residents are struggling to survive by feeding hand to mouth due to the effects of the economy.
A cup of rice now 500 naira. Can you see? As against 120 naira in 3 months ago. There are no a tuber of yam now. You can't get a tuber of yam at 2,000 naira. Is it chicken 10,000 naira?
It's really affecting the citizens of Nigeria because the amount of money or the income we used to have before to live a good life doesn't really don't do anything for us anymore, okay? Like, for example, you see what I'm holding, I just bought onion. And this onion before is 500 naira, but now I bought it for 1.5. So the economy is very harsh on us and it's telling. If you look around, you can see people are frowning. Nobody's buying and smiling.
I'm urging or calling on the federal government. They should, whatsoever they are doing, obviously, presently, I'm not necessarily interested in what they are doing, that the dollar is reducing in rate. But whatsoever they are doing, I pray more grace. They should add more effort.
For Governor Basio too, the key to overcoming this economic situation is to utilize the vast land and raw materials available in the state to not only meet the needs of Nigerians, but also create opportunities for exporting these products, ultimately boosting the nation's economy.
It's become clear when I look at almost all the assets we already have in place, and then the things which nature has presented to us. I believe that the two coming together would take Cross River State to the next level. I've discussed our various programs with you, our focus and where we're going. That we have about 500,000 hectares in our land bank, which we are ready to move into action very quickly. As a matter of fact, we've started already in terms of land preparations because the rains are almost here. And this year alone, we are looking at about 100,000 hectares.
Investors are already showing interest in taking advantage of the state's rich resources.
We see Cross River as a state that, if well positioned based on your vision, can become a major hub for agribusiness. And I don't mean agriculture, I mean agribusiness, where you're adding value, agro-processing. And that requires investment. It requires partnerships. It requires establishing solid businesses to be able to do that. And we believe that that is an area that we can work together on.
The Cross River State government believes it's important for Nigerians to look inward and leverage on the state's natural resources to improve the agricultural sector.
As part of its efforts to redefine innovation and technology in Nigeria, global phone manufacturer Tecno has launched its latest range of Camon 30 smartphones, the Pova 6, and a suite of mobile devices combined with AI capabilities and sophisticated imaging technology to enrich the user experience and improve performance. The launch, which held at the Landmark Center event in Victoria Island, Lagos, also marks strategic collaborations with industry giants Google and MTN to offer exclusive benefits to customers.
In keeping with its commitment to pushing boundaries, Tecno Mobile Nigeria is hosting key partners and industry players to showcase latest innovations from its stable of mobile technology. The unveiling of Tecno Camon 30 series, which includes the Camon 30 Pro 5G, Camon 30 5G, Camon 30 and Pova 6 Android smartphones, is the main highlight of the event. The latest models with cutting-edge technologies and AI features represent Tecno's commitment to quality and affordability while delivering an immersive smartphone experience that exceeds expectations.
They are camera-centric, so with this 50 megapixel Sony IMX 890 chipset, it actually takes very good pictures. The processor inside the smartphone, the MediaTek 8200 chipset, it's the fastest mid-range device, and For 530,000 naira, it's the cheapest, fastest measuring device right now.
The unveiling of the Camon series comes with the release of other amazing products like the MegaBook laptop, Watch Pro 2, TWS AirPod, a rubber dog and Pocket Go, an AR-handled gaming device.
Throughout the product development process, we ensure that we go through this device, every single thing that the device does, we check it to ensure that it meets our consumers' expectations. So yes, we have been doing this for many years, and this have shown in our improvement.
We understand the economy right now. People cannot actually cover the entire amount, but you can actually just drop down 50,000 naira and gather around for the remaining balance, or get friends and families, to join you in this amazing venture of Tecno Camon 30. So if you pick up if you order a Tecno Camon 30, you get gift items worth about 50,000 naira. It's a package gift item.
Through extensive testing and collaboration, proper research and design, Tecno Mobile says it will continue to deliver a cohesive ecosystem of mobile technologies that work seamlessly.
Right, so let's head into the world of business to find out what's the latest. And Laddie Williams is standing by. Hello, Laddie.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thanks, Aya. Well, let's begin with the business climate in Nigeria. We see activity steadied in March, but with a record increase in selling prices. That's according to the latest Purchasing Managers Index report by Stanbic IBTC Bank. We see headline PMI was unchanged in March at 51 points, which is the joint lowest in 4 months. Purchase costs rose at the sharpest rate on record, meaning companies increased their own selling prices at an unprecedented pace. The rate of expansion in business activity ticked higher, but steep price rises acted to limit demand, and the pace of new order growth eased to a 4-month low. The data also showed increase in activity in each of the agriculture, manufacturing, wholesale, and retail services categories. As higher cost of living continues to bite, employee pay was increased in response to price pressures, resulting in the sharpest rise in staff costs since last November. There were also reports of higher transportation costs. While purchasing activity returned to growth in contrast to the reading in February. Meanwhile, confidence in the year ahead outlook for business activity has strengthened from the previous month's record low, but remained relatively weak at the end of the first quarter of the year. And to border and trade matters now, a total of 1.3 trillion naira worth of revenue has been generated by the Nigeria Customs Service in the first quarter of 2024. Speaking during a press briefing, the Comptroller General of the Customs Service, Mr. Bashir Adewale, explains that over 572 seizures were made with a duty-paid value of 10.5 billion naira and an arrest of 22 persons. Mr. Adewale says a total of 1.6 billion naira was generated through its electronic auction platform launched in the first quarter of the year. The customs boss, however, says its major challenge is the fluctuations of the exchange rate regime, which he says has disrupted its activities. Meanwhile, checks on the customs exchange rate portal revealed that the exchange rate for cargo clearance stood at 1,330 naira to the dollar, even though the naira closed at 1,278 naira to the dollar on the official market yesterday. And we have inflation data out showing the Eurozone's annual rate of inflation dipped further than predicted in March, spurring hope that the European Central Bank will cut interest rates in June. Official data from the EU's statistics agency showed consumer prices, the rises in the single currency area slowed to 2.4% from 2.6% in February. The figure is getting closer to the ECB's 2% target, which will make the case for cutting rates in June stronger. But analysts do not expect a cut at the next monetary policy meeting on April 11th. And to the oil market now, OPEC Plus ministers have agreed to keep oil output policy unchanged while also pressing some countries to increase compliance with output cuts. In a statement following today's meeting, OPEC Plus noted the high conformity of members with pledged oil output cuts, although it said some countries had promised to improve their adherence and report on progress. Data from S&P Commodity Insights, known as Platts, showed that the group overproduced by a net 275,000 barrels per day in January and by 175,000 barrels per day in February. Platts is one of the secondary sources used by OPEC Plus to assess its members' production. Meanwhile, Brent crude and WTI both traded at their highest level since October, settling at $89 and $85 respectively. All right, let's get a check on the domestic equities market, where there appears to be no end to the negative start in the second quarter of 2024, with another dip for the local bourse. Willie Bong tells us more.
Welcome to the stock market report. It's still negative sentiments at the equities market as the index tumbled further in today's trading session. We see that index dropping amid corporate earnings releases. The banking sector were largely responsible for this negative performance. Let's zoom in on the tier 1 banks. Yes, all 5 of them recorded losses today. Beyond Holdings losing for a second consecutive day. Its share price was short 85 kobo. UBA share price shed 50 kobo. Now let's check out the value of the rest of the Fugas and how much they lost. GTCO lost more than UBA, 65 kobo, knocked off its share price. Access Holdings was a 10 kobo, mild loss. Still a loss anyways, and Zenith Bank capping it up with a 35 kobo price depreciation. Access Bank and UBA made it to the top 3 on the top trades list, and this is because of a lot of profit booking, I must say. And we can't possibly end without mentioning Transcore. The company released its audited financial statement for 2023, and investors appear unimpressed with the proposed 10 kobo dividend. It's still a rocky start for equities in the second quarter, but we can only hope that this tumble is not a preparation for a major pullback. And that's the stock market report. Will Ibong signing out.
Thanks, Nancy. Back to you, Ayo.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial star 894 hash now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Many thanks, Laddie. Pressure is mounting on Israel after 7 people working for food aid charity World Central Kitchen were killed in an Israeli strike in Gaza. The charity's founder, Jose Andres, accuses Israeli forces in Gaza of targeting the workers systematically, car by car. Here's Simon Puser with other international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Rescue efforts are underway in Taiwan after a 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck the island's eastern coast, killing at least 9 people and injuring more than 800. Incredible footage of landslides shows the power and extent of the quake. Here a man floating helplessly as water in the swimming pool he's in becomes a stormy sea. Some 127 people are trapped in collapsed tunnels and on mountainous roads along the rugged coastline. The epicenter was 18 kilometers south of Hualien city, but strong tremors were felt all the way to the capital, Taipei, more than 100 kilometers away. The strongest quake to hit Taiwan in 25 years caused the most damage in Hualien, where buildings fell, roads were blocked and train lines disrupted, leaving the remote region even more cut off from the rest of Taiwan. It also triggered tsunami alerts earlier in the day in nearby Japanese and Philippine islands. 3 British nationals who were among 7 aid workers killed in an Israeli strike in Gaza have been named. John Chapman, James Henderson and James Kirby were all working alongside WCK as security and safety advisors. Pressure is mounting on Israel after the 7 people working for the charity World Central Kitchen were killed. The head of the Israeli military says the strike was a grave mistake that occurred due to misidentification in very complex circumstances. In a tribute, the family of James Kirby say they are utterly heartbroken and he'll be remembered as a hero. John Chapman's family say they are devastated over his death. Tens of thousands of people have fled the Haitian capital Port-au-Prince to escape a surge in gang violence over the past weeks. United Nations figures suggest more than 53,000 left between the 8th and the 27th of March. The UN is warning that the rural regions to which many have fled are not equipped to deal with such a large influx of displaced people. Meanwhile, gangs are attacking businesses in the capital, torching pharmacies and vandalising schools. Flags have been flying at half-mast across Finland after a boy was killed and 2 girls seriously wounded in a shooting at a school. The shooting took place in a classroom at Vietola School in Vantaa, to the north of the capital Helsinki. Police said all 3 victims were 12 and that a suspect, also aged 12, had fled after the shooting but was later detained. One of the wounded girls has dual Finnish-Kosovan nationality. The Interior Ministry said all public buildings lowered their flags on Wednesday to mark a day of mourning. Zimbabwe's President Emerson Mnangagwa has declared a national disaster to tackle the prolonged drought crisis.
My dear Zimbabweans, the foregoing situation of the climate change-induced drought.
Mr. Mnangagwa said the country needs $2 billion to tackle hunger caused by low rainfall, which has wiped out about half of the maize crop. The grain shortage has pushed up food prices and an estimated 2.7 million people will face hunger. Neighbouring Zambia and Malawi have also declared states of disasters due to drought recently. The price of oil has climbed following a Ukrainian drone strike on Russia's 3rd largest refinery. The attack on the Tecno facility in the province of Tatarstan appears to have been Kyiv's deepest strike inside Russian territory since the invasion of Ukraine more than 2 years ago. The strike started a fire which took around 20 minutes to extinguish. No major damage to the site or injuries were reported. However, it was enough to trigger concern from investors, helping to push the cost of Brent crude above $89 a barrel, its highest level in 6 months. And finally, video of an 8-year-old girl watching television from a gravity-defying perch in the living room has gone viral on Chinese social media. Known as Spider Girl, her superpowers have amazed many Chinese netizens. Her mother says her daughter has always been a daredevil, adding that her skills were only discovered by reviewing home surveillance footage. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thanks, Simon. On Sports News tonight, Super Falcons centre-back Ashley Pomtre has pulled out of Friday's Women's Olympic qualifying first-leg clash with South Africa owing to injury. The Saudi Arabia-based defender has been replaced by 18-year-old Edo Queens right-back Jumoke Alani, who is already in camp. And the Super Falcons head coach, Randy Waldon, is confident of a victory over the African champions as both nations battle for a ticket to the Paris Games. In the EPL, Burnley manager Vincent Kompany has been charged with misconduct by the Football Association following his side's 2-0 draw with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge last weekend. Kompany was sent off for arguing on the touchline after the game. The former Manchester City star also criticized the standard of officiating throughout the season. He has until 6 p.m. tomorrow, Friday, to respond to the charge. Well, let's bring you some quick updates of fixtures and games played earlier today in the English Premier League. Arsenal, they are back on top of the table with a 2-0 victory over struggling Luton Town at the Emirates Stadium earlier tonight. A Martin Odegaard goal and an own goal from Japan midfielder Daiki Hashoka secured all 3 points for the Gunners. Elsewhere, Brentford and Brighton played out a goalless draw at the GTEC Community Stadium. Well, defending champions Manchester City striker Phil Foden scored a stunning hat-trick as City continued to apply pressure to title rivals with a commanding 4-1 win over Aston Villa at the Etihad. Away from EPL, Spanish police briefly arrested ex-football chief Luis Rubiales in connection with an alleged graft scandal in Spain's Football Federation. When he was president, Rubiales is suspected of receiving illegal commissions when negotiating a lucrative deal to stage the Spanish Super Cup in Saudi Arabia. And while prosecutors are seeking a 2.5-year jail term for the former president, he denies any wrongdoing. And that's Sports News Tonight. I am Kelly Egiga. It's back to you today.
Many thanks, Kelly. And the main news again. One person has died following a windstorm which caused a massive devastation in Aloshi and other communities in Nasarawa State. Over 1,000 houses.
And welcome to another edition of Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. I'm Anne.